We're making junk journal pockets today as I take you through part 4 of my junk journal flip through. I have so many cute things to show you, including some sneak peeks at upcoming videos. Here we go, y'all. Well, hello and welcome to Pink Paper Peppermints. My name is Melissa and I'm so glad you're here. Today we are doing part 4 of my junk journal flip through, and if you want to know more about that or see some of the other parts, you can see that in the link above to the right or below in the description. And I'm so excited because I have 3 pockets to show you that I've made in this last signature, which I didn't really do on purpose. Oddly enough, it just turned out that I had pockets in this last signature, and so I have some fun things to show you. So on the opposite page there of the cover page is some gift wrap that says happy birthday, and I placed that there for this last quarter because my birthday is in this last quarter, and that's also why I put this cute little tag. She's a gift wrap tag. I want to say she's from the 60s, but she's super, super cute. And at the beginning of the signature, just like in each of the previous 3 signatures, I have a fold out ledger paper, and that is so I can write my intentions for the quarter on that paper. That is a junk mail envelope that I've decorated a little bit and an embroidery pattern. I loved that it had November and December since those are the months that are in this signature, and I just sewed a little bit of lace on it. This is a vintage birthday card with pink trees, which I very much loved, and so I had to include that. Here we have some Maggie Holmes paper, and I've just backed it, cut one in half and made a pocket out of it with the pink gingham. Oh, and I just love that so much, that mid-century flower look. Here we have another vintage birthday tag with a little lion on it, and I think that's some more Maggie Holmes paper. This is going to be my calendar, and you can learn more about that in one of the other videos. I'll be drawing out calendars in each signature. This is a page from a vintage art book, and I've just sewn some fabric to the edge. This is a gorgeous music paper, vintage music paper printable that my friend Abby from Little Birdie Blessings sent me, and I will link her below. She's got lots of beautiful printables. This is a page wrap tag from my Painted Pages collection, and I will link that below as well, and a vintage children's book page. This is part of a Susan Branch calendar. I always say save my old calendar pages because those make really fun pages in your junk journals, and Susan Branch has the most gorgeous drawings, watercolor drawings, so they're just so fun to include. Instant decorated page. This is some vintage hymnal paper with a fabric pocket and a vintage book page and some more Maggie Holmes paper. Here I've just sewn some sparkly tulle to this typewriter book page, and I've embossed some vellum here, and I've got a video coming up on how to do that embossing. And that actually might be a series because I have so many ideas for you. That is just a little sticker that I placed on it. I thought it looked pretty with that. That is my Mind's Eye chipboard sticker that's just sewn to that vintage architecture book page. More Maggie Holmes paper, and here I just took 2 vintage coin wrappers and sewed them together to create a pocket. And on this page, I've got a piece from my Heart of Thanksgiving collection. And if you joined us for that, you know that we made these super cool pie hidden journaling, what do you call that? Hidden journaling pie things, and I will link that video if you'd like to see how that's made. It's lots of fun, and you don't have to make a pie out of it. You can do anything with it. It's just a fun technique. I've just sewn some vintage silk scarf to that vintage pattern piece there, and this is some more Maggie Holmes paper and stickers. And this is the first pocket that I want to do a little tutorial for you. It's so easy and so fun. I've used paper from my Word Studies collection, and some Word Studies flashcards are tucked inside because this is going to be fall and kind of schooly feeling. And so that is what that paper is from. And I will link that collection. And this is so easy. You're just going to start with a square piece of paper, and it's best if it's printed on both sides like I've done here. And you're going to fold it in half. I believe that I'm using a 6x6, but you could also use an 8x8 for a bigger pocket. Then you're going to fold that top triangle down and crease it, but then fold it back up, because then we're going to take those side points and we're going to fold them in to the center, and we want to line them up with that fold, and then we're going to pull that triangle back down, and that is it. You have this really cute pocket. You could fold that back triangle down as well if you wanted to, and glue it to your page, but I kind of liked the way it looked sticking up, so I'm going to leave that like that, and I will probably glue it or sew it to my page once I'm finished. I wanted to leave it loose so that I could show you how to make it. So on this next page, I have created kind of a pocket, but not really, because I didn't sew the bottom, with this vintage handkerchief, and I just loved the brown and pink together, and I thought especially for fall it's going to be so pretty when I get there. This is the November calendar, and I've actually made it a double spread because of birthdays and Thanksgiving and things that are in this month. I know I'm going to have a lot to write about. I've got a vintage book page with a birthday cake on it there. And this little card is from my Comfort and Joy collection. And it says, first job this morning is to get the tree up. And I just tucked it in there because I want to remember to use that there, because usually after Thanksgiving is when we put our tree up. So I wanted to do something with that on that page. There's the rest of that handkerchief. And then on this side, I have some more of that hot pink scarf and some more ephemera from my Comfort and Joy kit. And this is a vintage cookie cutter box. And I just love how it says sharp-edged and sanitary. That was the two most important things, I guess, at the time. It needed to be sharp-edged and sanitary. It doesn't really sound yummy, though. You know what I mean? So this is some inked paper scraps and a scrap of vintage quilt. And I've just sewed it to the side of my page to create a little tuck spot here. And I just love that hand-stitched quilt, and I just use every scrap of it when I get those. And here we have a little stack of Christmas ephemera that I had left over from Christmas 2018, and I just kind of sewed it to the corner there for Christmas 2019. Here I have a little scrap of a journal card from my In His Hands journal card collection, and it's made with vintage maps that I had painted and typed on. This is a Chosen by Grace card from that collection, and I've just stitched it onto some Maggie Holmes paper. And then we have a little pocket, which you've probably seen before. It's from my Rhythms of Grace collection, and it's made from vintage 1930s quilt scraps that I found at an estate sale. And then we have some more of that pretty embossed vellum. And on this page, I had a typewriter instruction book that didn't quite go all the way to the end, and so I sewed some vintage ledger paper and fabric to it to kind of make it go all the way to the end of the page, and created a little tuck spot there. And there's some more Maggie Holmes paper and some more Christmas ephemera that I've sewn to a vintage children's book. And now on this next page, I've taken some of that same Christmas ephemera and made a pocket with it. I just sewed it all together. On the background, there is some vintage hymnal paper. You can see I painted it with some gold paint, little polka dots. And then I just used a zigzag stitch and stitched all my ephemera together to create a pocket. And on the top there, I added some vintage lace, also sewn on with a zigzag stitch. And then I just sewed up the sides to create that pocket. And that's a great way to use scraps and pieces that you have left over. Just sew them edge to edge all together and create a pocket with them. So this pocket is a lot of fun. I'm going to show you how to make this. I've used some paper from my Comfort and Joy Tags and Pockets kit. It comes with 3 pattern papers, and it's got holly and peppermint stripes, and that's what I've used here to create a little ephemera folder, because I had this ephemera left over from my this last Christmas, and I didn't want to forget to use it. And so I thought, well, let me tuck it in a little folder and slip it into that area of my book. So when I get there, it's all ready for me. So let me show you how to make this pocket. Super simple. Again, you're going to use a double-sided paper, and it's kind of like making a paper airplane. You're basically going to lay it down. You're going to fold it in half the long way. I think they call that a hot dog fold. And you just want to crease it and then open it back up. And then you're going to take the 2 top corners and fold those down into the middle. You can see what I mean, that it kind of looks like a paper airplane. And then you're going to fold that down and meet that crease in the center and then fold it in half. And that is it. Super, super easy. And you could sew it up the middle of that crease if you wanted to make it a little more secure. I wanted to leave it open again because I knew I would probably want to show you this. And then I've just used some old sticker packaging to put my ephemera in and tucked it into the pockets. And then you could also fold it with the pockets on the outside and slip it into your traveler's notebook, or you could slip it into your junk journal before you sew it together to hold tags or ephemera or whatever you like. And I also think it would be really fun to make a whole little mini book out of those pockets. So on the next page, I have the rest of that Susan branch calendar and some more quilt scraps. And this one, you can actually see a lot of the beautiful hand stitching on this quilt. And I love how puckered it is because it's been washed and loved so many times. And I've just sewn it to the edge of the page to create kind of a little tuck spot. And I could just touch it over and over again. I just love the texture of that so much. So we have the rest of that children's book page and the rest of the page wrap tag. And here we have a little vintage card, a Christmas card, and it was cut into a circle. It was in a bag of scraps that I picked up at an estate sale. And I've just attached it to a piece of paper that I was experimenting with inks. That's the rest of that art book page. And this will be my December calendar. And again, I've done a flap out so that I have enough room for everything that will be happening in December. And some more of that embroidery book and my Maggie Holmes pocket page. Oh, I just love that flower paper so much. That's the rest of that vintage card and embroidery pattern, and that is the other side of a junk mail envelope. On the last day of December, December 31st, New Year's Eve, is also my anniversary. So I just included this little scrap of fabric with a sticker sewn to it. And when you lift the fabric up, I have a sticker sewn onto that side as well. And I just wanted to make a little place there to maybe put some photos or journaling about whatever we decide to do for our anniversary. And I've stitched the back page with a scallop stitch, you can see there. And that is from a children's book and it says Flying Toward the Dawn. And I thought that was fun for ending the book and looking towards the new year. And I've got some journaling space there to journal about the next year, 2020. Now, coming up in the next few weeks, I have got videos for you on all the techniques that you've asked me about. The embossing on papers, the confetti shaker tape thingies, the crisscross binding. I'll come up with a better word for the confetti, by the way. And the transparencies. I've got a whole video on transparencies for you. I'm going to be showing you my journal weaving technique. It's so much fun. And loom flowers. I've got lots of ideas for loom flowers for you too. And that's really just the beginning. I have so many videos coming up I'm really excited about. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, maybe give me a thumbs up or share it with a crafty friend. And I hope that you have a week filled with peace and grace. And I'll see you next time here on Pink Paper Peppermints.